Good morning, class. Today, we're going to be unpacking the question, is inflation theft? And more specifically, by the government.
It's a bit harsh, don't you think? I mean, I understand that inflation's hurting the poor and middle class, but is it really considered stealing?
Yes, but let's explain how. In a working society, the government's there to collect some taxes and then use that money to help the country as a whole. And this will be with things that are difficult for individuals or even whole states to do on their own. Think defense, interstate infrastructure, maintaining contracts with foreign nations, and helping to settle disputes between states. So how could the national government pay for this?
Well, they could use their tax revenue or just print more money.
Very good. And here's the problem. If the government is upfront with what they want to do, and they're doing a project that the majority of citizens are okay with, say building a nationwide railroad system, then the government isn't going to have too much of a problem taxing the citizens, because the citizens know that that's a project that's going to help society as a whole, along with knowing what that money is actually going for up front.
Oh, I think I get it. So when governments want to engage in programs, start wars, or do things in general the population wouldn't really want to pay for, they could just print the money. The population then pays for these things through inflation.
Well, you might as well teach the class now. But yes, instead of the government being upfront with what it is they want to do, and then collecting taxes for that specific reason, they can basically just go ahead and do whatever they want and pay for it through debt creation and inflation. The citizens pay for it later through rising prices, without really knowing why.
Is that why you believe hard money is morally superior? I mean, if the government can't inflate currency, they're forced to tax their citizens and then engage in the programs that the majority of those citizens vote for.
Yes, now it's a little more complicated than that, but that's the overall gist. Taxing should be a voting mechanism. If the government's upfront with what it wants to do and what it needs the money for, people are going to be much more likely to be okay participating in that. However, now politicians just make vague promises and spend vast, unknown sums of money without really telling the population where they got that money or what the consequences would be for devaluing the currency.
I see now what you mean by it's the currency that's the problem. If the currency can't be inflated, or at least easily, governments are forced to be upfront with how the money is being spent and why taxes are being raised. It wouldn't matter who's making decisions since the currency itself isn't being inflated.
Exactly, and this is why inflation is theft. The government steals your money by devaluing the currency without explaining what that money is actually going towards. By the time anybody knows, the decisions have already been made. Remember, nothing is free. You can pay now or you can pay later, but eventually somebody always wants their money back.